Hey, how about some TR6 talk? Well, I assume that they built TR6 body shells in-house, but I got to tell you something. I think the guys at Triumph just jigged up a bunch of stuff. They knew where to pound it with a hammer or bend it to make it fit, and they welded up a body shell. These things are awful. These things are really awful. This particular car here, this body shell is a 69 front and a 71 back. I bought parts off of each of these respective shells off two different buyers, and when I got there to pick it up, they hadn't taken the parts off, so they gave me the whole clips. I added floors and sills and made a car. They were that good. But I got to tell you something, the welds are terrible. These foot welds are notorious in this area. A lot of the welds in here will be cold, all up and down through this back of this A-post. They were bad, just terrible. Put new floors and new rockers in here. Made a little repair on that front corner. I repaired that front corner at the very last to make sure it fits right. I think when they build the body shells in the factory, they pound that circular part there with a hammer and fill it up with braze because their tooling doesn't fit very well. I think that's how they do it, or how they did it. So when I put my floors and sills in, I repair that spot last so I can make sure I have a good repair. Got a spot weld about every 3/4 of an inch. These are Heritage floors. They went in real well. Here's a tip. You've got to have your transmission tunnel before you weld this in, otherwise you'll never get it right. So I did not have my transmission tunnel. Luckily, this fits great, but unfortunately, up here, I need a little extra dimension on it. So I took a saw and split it, and it goes from 0 at the shifter hole to about 3/4 of an inch up there. This is bolted down. So to get a good fit on this, I'm going to have a piece welded in. I got a good plastics place here in Columbus, so they'll put a piece in there for me. You'll never know it was fixed. But I encourage you to have your transmission tunnel before you put your floors in, because you'll have your floors in a spot where the tunnel just won't bolt up, and you want to have a really good fit. I was considering putting a custom sheet metal tunnel in here to firm the shell up, especially when you consider that it's linked floor to dash, and I still might do that. But anyway, it went together okay. The Heritage panels on the back fit well. The Heritage panels on the front didn't fit at all. They didn't match the crown of the hood. So I robbed parts out of one fender, took the headlight bucket out of it, painted it the green color. That's the BRG that I'm going to paint it, one of the 150 shades of BRG. That's the one I like. I don't know what color it is. And that left front fender, it didn't fit this car at all. So I made repairs to these. This fender wasn't rusted out, but it had an odd situation in the front here where I had to weld in a pie-shaped piece to make this line up. This other fender here, I put a headlight bucket in that I robbed off of the new one, and I welded in a bottom to it. But this is how the original fenders will fit. This isn't even bolted on. This is how they fit. So good bit of repair in here. But overall, it's a real nice car. I've done the frame. It's a reinforced frame. So I'm looking for a good result. I hang a 55-gallon drum off my chassis. I have it on a castered sort of a thing here. It's about the top of the fender is about at my chin level. So this is right, I'm looking at it right from my chin, and I do all this body work standing up. So it tends to work well. Really hard to get it to line up though. I encourage people that do TR6 restorations to not worry about cutting the thing apart. Cut it in half. It's probably the only way you're going to get it to fit really well. Because the factory, they sure as hell didn't do you any favors. So I encourage you to do your own body work. You're not going to screw it up anymore. You're not going to screw it up any more than Triumph did. Put a battery shelf in it. I didn't rib it. No ribs on it. But for me, it's okay. I'm not a purist. I don't let this stuff drive me crazy. And the inside of the engine compartment had all the usual repairs. Nothing fancy. You can do a good job if you take your time. And once you put your body caulk and sealer in it, you won't see it anyway. This was hitting the front. That was probably the toughest repair that I had to do. And I put this out to the general population watching. This seems to come right off this edge and fall down straight. But back in here, this seems to have a little bit of a curve in here. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm seeing. So if anybody has a opinion on that, I've seemed to got this right here. It seems to come to a little bit of a faint body line here, and then it dips back right in here. I fitted my turn signal, the metal shells of the turn signals, and they fit perfectly. So this doesn't come off straight, I don't think. So there's just ever so slight prominent spot right there, a little bulge. So I'm hoping that I have that right. Anyway, I'm getting real close to paint. This will be a rust-free car when I get finished with it. Real happy with the way it went together. All of the underside is very nice. So I'm hoping for a good result. I got a couple little doodads on, this is a repair here, obviously, as you can see this, and just a couple little pinholes where I didn't quite get it all welded in. So, but we're looking pretty good. Getting ready for paint. This has a new rear valance on it too, by the way. And I'll tell you, when you put a valance on a car like this, you can really get the back end to look right because you can weld the valance where it needs to go. These aren't bolted on tight, but I've worked on this fit a little bit. Trunk lid is an original trunk lid. So I'm real happy with it. Someone cut out the triangular pieces to put in a stereo. I'm going to put a steel bulkhead across that, so I'm not going to worry about it. Trunk's real nice. No repair in here. So, just about ready for paint. I think another 20 or 30 hours on this body shell and I'll just about have it. Anyway, there it is, guys. I'll talk to you later.